Remember when Woolworths was an adventure, renting a VHS was the highlight of your weekend, and letters meant something more than bills? Back then, life felt slower, sweeter, and full of small joys. There was a charm in the little things, from Saturday morning cartoons to football stickers at school. These are the 12 things Britain did better in the 80s, and honestly, we wish they would make a comeback. There was a time when heading to the video shop felt like the start of the weekend. It wasn't just about picking a film, it was about the whole experience. Walking through those narrow aisles, seeing shelves packed with tapes, each cover brighter and bolder than the last. The artwork mattered almost as much as the movie. Big fonts, wild illustrations and dramatic taglines tempted you to take a chance. You'd flip the tape over, read the back, and wonder if it would be a masterpiece or a total letdown. Choosing wasn't easy, but that was part of the fun. There was no algorithm, no autoplay, just your own instinct. Sometimes you picked a classic, sometimes something so bad it was good. Either way, it felt like a little adventure. Bringing that chunky black tape home was exciting. It meant snacks, fizzy drinks, and a night ahead that was planned around one film and nothing else. You pressed play, knowing this was your choice and your moment. Today, it's hard to imagine that kind of simple joy. The ritual is gone, replaced by endless scrolling and instant access. But back then, it felt like magic. Back in the 80s, Saturday mornings had a rhythm of their own. It wasn't about scrolling or binge watching. It was about waking up early, grabbing a bowl of cereal and turning on the television. Shows like Going, Live or Number. 73 were more than entertainment. They were a weekly ritual. These programs were gloriously chaotic. Live interviews, silly games, surprise guests, and the kind of spontaneous moments that could never be scripted. They brought energy, colour and fun into living rooms across the country, giving every child a reason to get up early on the weekend. It wasn't just about the shows themselves. It was about the shared experience. Kids everywhere watched the same thing at the same time. Monday playground conversations started with what happened on TV Saturday morning. There was a sense of connection that today's on-demand world struggles to recreate. Looking back, it felt like a golden era of simple, live, slightly messy television. And maybe that's why we remember it with such fondness. Which Saturday morning show did you never want to miss? Let us know in the comments. Before gaming became sleek, fast and digital, there was the humble Ceefax Spectrum, sitting proudly in living rooms across Britain. It wasn't just a computer, it was an invitation to a new world. Those chunky keyboards, blocky graphics and rainbow stripes became the gateway to endless hours of discovery. The games were simple, but legendary. Titles like Jet Set Willy and Manic Miner didn't need cutting-edge visuals to capture imaginations. They challenged your patience, your creativity, and sometimes your sanity. Families gathered around the screen, waiting for cassette tapes to load, often with fingers crossed. But the Spectrum wasn't only about playing, it sparked a curiosity for coding and creativity. Kids typed out pages of code from magazines just to see a pixelated animation dance across the screen. It taught problem solving, persistence, and the thrill of creating something from scratch. Today, we look back and realise it wasn't about high scores or speed. It was about wonder, learning, and shared moments. The Ceefax Spectrum gave us that magic. There was a time when checking the news didn't mean scrolling endlessly on a screen. Instead, you pressed a button on your remote and watched as blocky, pixelated pages loaded slowly onto your television. Ceefax and Teletext were simple, but they did the job. News, weather, football, scores, all in one place. The graphics were basic, the design laughably outdated by today's standards, but there was something reassuring about their quiet presence. No ads, no distractions, no notifications, just the information you needed whenever you wanted it. In a world before smartphones, this was cutting-edge convenience. People trusted it, relied on it, and even found comfort in its odd little quirks. It was practical, straightforward, and strangely calming. It felt like having your own little digital corner in a world that moved slower. Looking back, it's easy to see why many miss it. Sometimes, less really was more. Back then, Woolworths was more than just a shop. It was a little adventure. From the moment you stepped inside, there was something for everyone. Rows of pick-and-mix sweets, shelves stacked with records, aisles packed with toys, stationery and household bits you never knew you needed. It was a place where time seemed to slow down. You could browse without pressure, discovering small treasures with every visit. Whether it was a birthday treat, new school supplies, or simply a bag of sweets, there was always something worth taking home. Woolworths had a charm that modern shops struggle to match. It brought people together, young and old, in a space that felt casual and welcoming. You didn't need a reason to go in, you just did, and you always left with something. Looking back, it's clear why so many miss it. Woolworths wasn't just part of the high street, it was part of life. Back in the 80s, football sticker albums were more than a hobby, they were a way of life. Every new season brought fresh excitement, new designs, and the hope of finally filling every empty square on those glossy pages. Opening a fresh packet was pure magic. The crinkle of the wrapper, the first glimpse of shiny badges or star players. It was a small thrill that never got old. Some swaps were easy, others felt like intense negotiations, but the playground deals built friendships and rivalries alike. It wasn't just about collecting, it was about connecting. Trading duplicates, chasing that one missing sticker, celebrating a completed page. It brought kids together. Lunchtimes were battles of patience, persuasion, and a little bit of luck. Looking back, it's clear why so many remember it fondly. Those albums taught us patience, persistence, and the simple joy of finishing something by hand. There was a time when a small glass bottle of milk was part of every school day. Delivered in crates, lined up neatly in classrooms, it became a daily ritual whether you liked it or not. Sometimes warm, sometimes cold, but always there. It wasn't just about the milk itself. It was a pause in the day. A chance to sit still for a moment, to chat quietly with friends while teachers prepared for the next lesson. That little bottle became a symbol of routine, of care, and of a simpler kind of childhood. Some kids loved it, others dreaded it, but everyone remembers it. School milk was part of growing up, part of the rhythm of life back then. It brought a sense of community, however small, to classrooms across the country. Looking back, it feels like a tiny gesture that carried more meaning than we realised. A small bottle, a big memory. Did you love it, hate it, or secretly try to swap it? Back in the 80s, Butlins wasn't just a holiday, it was an experience. Families from all over the country packed their bags, ready for a week of simple, cheerful fun by the seaside. Redcoats greeted you with a smile, and the days stretched ahead, filled with endless activities and silly competitions. From knobbly knees contests to fancy dress nights, there was something for everyone. The food was served in noisy dining halls where strangers quickly became friends. Kids ran free, parents relaxed, and the whole place buzzed with a sense of community that feels rare today. It wasn't about luxury or exclusivity. It was about laughter, togetherness, and making memories on a budget. The charm wasn't in the decor, but in the people, staff and guests alike, creating moments that stayed with you long after the suitcases were unpacked. Looking back, it's easy to see why people still smile at the thought of Butlins. It was a little world where everyone belonged. There was a time when the sound of the letterbox meant more than just bills. Handwritten letters, postcards from holidays, birthday cards carefully chosen. These little moments of connection brightened even the dullest days. Writing was personal, thoughtful, and full of meaning. Each letter carried a piece of someone's time, a bit of their world folded into an envelope. From pen pals to grandparents, those exchanges created bonds that email and texts could never quite replicate. Waiting for a reply taught patience. Seeing familiar handwriting on the envelope sparked excitement. It was a slower, quieter way to communicate, but somehow it felt more alive, more genuine. Looking back, it's easy to miss the simplicity of it all. Letters made us feel remembered, valued, and closer. No screens required. In the 80s, TV shows didn't end when the credits rolled. They followed you everywhere. From lunchboxes to magazines, posters to action figures, your favourite characters became part of daily life in a way no app or download could replace. Every hit show had its own empire of merchandise. Doctor Who annuals, Thundercats toys, or cartoon-themed school supplies. These weren't just products, they were badges of honour. They let kids carry a bit of their favourite world with them, from the playground to their bedroom shelves. It wasn't just about buying things, it was about feeling connected to something bigger. Sharing a sticker album, trading a collectible, showing off a lunchbox. These small moments built friendships and shaped childhoods. Looking back, it's clear why these treasures still hold a place in our hearts. They weren't just toys, they were part of who we were. Before online shopping took over, catalogues like Argos or Freeman's felt like windows to endless possibilities. Thick, glossy pages filled with everything from toys to furniture made browsing a slow, deliberate joy. Flipping through them wasn't just about shopping, it was about dreaming. Lists were made, favourites circled, pages bookmarked. Planning a purchase became part of the fun, with wish lists growing long before anything was actually bought. The excitement of waiting for something to arrive by post made it all feel more rewarding. There was no rush, no endless scrolling, no targeted ads, just time spent imagining how a product might fit into your life. The ritual gave shopping a sense of patience and anticipation that has mostly disappeared today. Looking back, it's easy to see why catalogue shopping feels missed. It made wanting something almost as enjoyable as having it. There was a time when Christmas Day wasn't complete without gathering around the television for Top of the Pops. It wasn't just another programme, it was part of the holiday itself. Families sat together, watching the year's biggest hits performed live, sometimes brilliantly, sometimes hilariously off-key. It brought everyone together, young and old. Grandparents might not know the songs, younger siblings might dance along, but for 1 hour, the living room became a shared stage of laughter, music, and celebration. It was as much a tradition as turkey or mince pies. The performances were colourful, over the top, and perfectly festive. Watching your favourite bands on Christmas felt like a gift in itself. It marked the end of the year with a burst of energy and joy that only live music can bring. Looking back, it's easy to see why this tradition is missed. It wasn't just about the music, it was about feeling connected, together, and ready to welcome a brand new year. It's funny how these little things, a video shop, a catalogue, a TV show, still live so clearly in our memories. They weren't just habits, they were part of what made everyday life feel special. If you've ever wished for just one more Saturday morning with cartoons, one more trip to Woolworths, or one more VHS night, you're definitely not alone. Subscribe for more trips down memory lane and tell us which of these would you bring back first.